The weapon that gets no love, but when someone with it joins the party, everyone wets themselves with joy. That's right, the hunting horn. The hunting horn is the least used weapon in Monster Hunter World, and is misunderstood by many hunters as only being viable for support. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and change your minds. Now, before we continue, any close-minded, elitist, cum-guzzling twat waffles out there that are too good for anything other than what they deem great, but will gladly prematurely nut in their pants anytime a hunting horn player joins their party, gotta get them deeps, bro! Please click away from the video now and go back to hiding in your parents' basement so the rest of the functioning members of society don't have to deal with your bullshit. Now, for all you glorious hunters still remaining, the hunting horn is a highly underrated weapon that can do quite a bit of damage, high stun, and exhaust rate, while also being the best support in the game. Now, the hunting horn may not be the end-all, be-all of damage in the game, but it's far from being just a support weapon. Now, there is a ton of different ways to play the hunting horn, but today I'm going to be going over two builds that are very high damage so that you can not only be the best support in the game, but you can also deal quite a bit of damage at the same time. Those long-time hunting horn players may or may not enjoy these builds. I hope you guys do. There is a ton of different ways to play the hunting horn. So I hope you guys all enjoy this. Before we actually get into the actual build itself, we'll go into a couple things about the hunting horn. Now you'll see that each horn has its own melodies that it can play. For this particular one, which is the Nergigante Tree's Desolations Overture, we have got health recovery small, affinity up, and health recovery small. With the encore, you can actually get that up to affinity up large and health recovery large. And you also got earplugs large, which acts as level 5 earplugs. So this is absolutely amazing, and the affinity up can actually give you 20% affinity. That is for everyone in your party. So this build right here is actually a 100% crit build, which does a ton of damage. I absolutely love this. It is by far one of my favorites so far. I've also got another build that we'll be showing off in here in a second, but let's actually get into the build, and then we'll get into a little bit about the gameplay of the hunting horn. First, let's go ahead and go into the skills that we've got here. We've got Nergigante's Hunger, which regenerates your health as you continually attack a monster. Recovery varies by weapon. So this is really just a bonus in the set that we are using, which it comes in handy when you get hit. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty useful. Then we've got Attack Boost level 4. The 5% affinity on this actually pushes us over the 100% affinity when everything is procced. Then we've got Critical Boost level 3, which increases our critical hit damage by 15%. Weakness Exploit level 3, which gives us 50% affinity. Then we've got Stamina Thief level 3 on here. Maximum Might, which increases our affinity by 30% when our stamina is full, which, unless you're dodging, is going to be all the time. And then we've got Dragon Attack level 1, and then Flinch Free, which prevents knockbacks, because you really don't want to have your songs interrupted, or it just helps. Flinch Free helps. Now, this does have a lot of options for gems, but as far as equipment, we are using the Desolations Overture, the Nergigante Helm Beta, the Dober Mail Beta, Xeno Jiva Claws Alpha for 1 socket of critical boost. Then we've got the Nergigante Coil Beta and the Nergigante Greaves Beta. Now, depending on the jewels, the claws can be swapped out for, say, the Kaiser Gloves, and then you can put 3 critical jewels in here. There's a couple different ways you can run this. But you can also swap out the jewels for KO jewels so that you can have stun power and exhaust if you so desire. So there is options for jewels in this build, and then the next one, it's even better. Now, we are running 100% affinity with this, which is pretty darn good. So you'll see that once we actually get our affinity song on, we will be hitting for 100% of the time, which is pretty nice. And there's a couple tricks that you can actually use when using your hunting horn to get through things a little bit faster, and we'll go over that in just a second. But let's go ahead and get that affinity. And then the way you get the affinity up large is you use your encore, which when you hit R2 in the middle of a song, allows you to play it again and get a larger boost. Now, I spoke wrong earlier. You only get the affinity up large, not a health recovery large. The health recovery still stays small. Then the earplugs are pretty darn good as well. Now with the earplugs, it doesn't get better, it just extends the amount of time that the buff is applying to all of the members in your party. So you can go ahead and hit R2, and then right in the middle of the song, you hit R2 again, and then you do the encore so that it lasts longer. The other build that we'll be showing off in this video is what I call the Splode Crit build. The Basil Reed Rookslayer is actually the highest damage hunting horn you can get currently in the game, and it also has some amazing notes and melodies as well. So the Basil Reed Rookslayer can actually get to the white level of sharpness, and I'm achieving this by using the Kushala Sista here. Well, let's actually get into the skills and the gems that we've got socketed in here. Now, this particular build has lots of options for gems. Now, since we are using Handicraft and Sharp, I do have Grinder Jewels socketed in here. Now, you can choose, if you don't really want to worry about the sharpening of your weapon, you can put some Drain in here. I've got Flawless Jewels and Critical Jewels socketed in there now. You can still run the Drain and KO build, which is actually really well. I kind of swap in between the two, depending on what I'm fighting. If I can hit something in the head a lot, I'm going to run the KO and Drain build. But otherwise, we've got the Basil Reed Rookslayer, the Flawless Gem 2 in here, the Sharp Jewel 2. Then we've got the Nergigante Helm Beta, so it's almost exactly the same as the previous build, except instead of the attack chest, we are using the Kushala Sista to get the Handicraft level 2. We're using the same gem as before, so we've pretty much just swapped out our weapon and our chest piece. Now, that being said, you do not have a 100% crit chance with this build, but you're still getting very high crit and extremely high damage. You'll see here that the songs that we have for this one is Attack Up Large, which you can increase to Extra Large, Health Recovery Small, and Recovery Speed Large. So we can actually go ahead and play this song here. And you'll see that right now we are at 979 attack, and then when we play this, we will increase to 1105, and then with the Extra Large, we're going to be at 1147. Now, once you eat some food, that's going to increase drastically again. I think with this, you're getting up to about 1300 attack. And we've got 20% affinity on this build right now. And then, so we're running 70% total with the weakness exploit. And you'll see here that we do just an absurd amount of damage, especially with that head attack right there. Now, the nice thing about the hunting horn is it has very high reach, and you can hit things while in the air very easily as well. It's pretty nice. Now that we've got the builds out of the way, I want to get into some of the basics of the hunting horn for those of you that want to pick this up as a new weapon to put into your arsenal. So, there are quite a few ways to attack with the hunting horn. You've got your basic triangle attack here, which is actually how you get your self-improvements. Now, we've already buffed ourselves with the movement speed, so I can't show that off right now. But you got the deflected attack prevention, which is Mind's Eye, which prevents all of your weapons attacks from blocking off. Now that we've got the movement speed applied already, you can see that we move extremely quickly. The hunting horn is actually the fastest weapon in the game with the weapon drawn. So you can get around very quickly for positioning. You can roll very quickly as well. It is a very maneuverable weapon. So for your triangle attacks, you just can push triangle and you'll do the upswing. And if you push triangle again right after, you'll go down into the head smash like that. Now you can also go straight into the head smash by pushing forward and triangle. And then you can change it into something else as well. There you go. Now your next attack is your circle attack, which comes in two varieties as well. When you're standing still, you're actually going to swing like this. Now you can chain that into another attack as well. So you can hit this button and then hit it again, and you'll add an uppercut to it. Now you can do the uppercut all on its own by hitting forward and circle as well, which does pretty good damage. Now next up, we've got our circle attack, which comes in two variations as well. When you're standing still, you can go ahead and see we'll do one uppercut like that. And we can also chain that into two circle attacks, where we do a down slash and then an uppercut. Now you can also go straight into the down slash and the uppercut by hitting forward and circle. There we go. And then you continue to chain that through as well. Now, one thing that you can do with any of the attacks is actually turn it into a quick attack, which is very handy. So you can see here that we can do triangle and then do a little, whoops, messed it up. So we can do a triangle, and then you can actually pull back on the attack to do a little stab with the point of your weapon. And you can do that with any of the notes to get a really quick note. So it comes in very handy. Now that attack also counts as slashing damage, so you can actually cut tails with that attack as well. So it comes in really handy for getting some quick notes in there, but you can only do it once after an attack. So you can go ahead and do like a quick health recovery. So you can do triangle and then add a little circle in there and then triangle again. And there you go. There's your health recovery. Our next tier of attack is the triangle and zero attack. Now, when you're standing still like this, you'll actually do a backwards head smash attack. And you'll see that we move backwards like that. That can be very good for repositioning and getting back into the fray if the monster happens to get behind you. Now, if you hit forward in triangle and circle, you will do an attack forward. And then you can also do this directionally as well to reposition. So you can attack to the left, you can attack to the right, and then if you hit back, you can do a little stab with it as well. Now, that is one really cool thing that you can use to chain attacks together very quickly to play songs very fast. After you do an attack, you can pull back on any notes and you can do a quick attack while playing that note fully. So let's just go ahead and show that off again real quick. So you're going to hit, let's just do 0 here, and then we're going to go back and triangle and 0. So by back, I mean just directionally back, and then you hit triangle and 0. You can do that with any note. So we'll do it with triangle now, and we'll do it with circle now. And that counts as slashing damage. You can actually cut tails with that as well. So you can see here that when we do this, we can actually play notes very quickly. And wham bam, thank you ma'am, we have got our attack up large. Now there you saw something new as well, which when you actually activate your attacks, actually activate the melody, you can attack differently as well. All of your attacks can be direction, so if you hit left and circle, you'll turn and hit in the left direction. So it's very good at repositioning. You can do that with every single attack very quickly, so it's very easy to reposition when you need to. Let's go ahead and activate the speed up melody just by standing still, and you'll see that we do a slash like that, well, a really smash like that, and then we play the note. Now, if we add a direction to it, let's go ahead and get back to our notes. Now, if you add a direction to it, like a forward, you'll see that we kind of drop it down and do this little kick. Now, we can encore that to the left, and you'll see that, well, I screwed it up. Whoops. Let's just do 2 stabs. Now, you can do this in all the directions as well. So if you want to hit left, you can attack to the left with it. And then we can encore that backwards as well and do that. So it's very agile in the directions that you can attack. You really don't get locked into one direction. And you can actually stop a song if you need to by actually just rolling out of it, if you get yourself in a sticky situation. Now, I highly recommend learning all of your attacks before you start learning the melodies, because once you understand how they all chain together, it's going to make your life significantly easier for positioning and playing your melodies. Now, there is one other thing you can do to sneak in notes for free without actually having to do the attack, and it's pretty amazing. So you can actually sneak in a free note on a forward and circle attack. So if you do forward and circle, and you'll see that we got a free triangle and 0 note in there. Now you can add any free note as long as it's after a forward and 0 thrust. So you can see forward and 0, and we can add a free triangle note in there. Do forward and 0, and we can even add another 0 note in there if we did it right. You have to time it just right. You have to press and hold the button in the middle of the attack. Now, I don't know if you have to hold it. It's the only way that seems to work for me. So right in the middle of the attack, there you go, you get a free note. So you can actually play your attack up large extremely quickly. So we can do the triangle attack, forward and 0, free notes, and then triangle. And then we do that, And then we can even play the Encore for some additional damage. Very nice amounts of damage when you actually play everything properly. Now you can get you can do this for this, and then get your quick attack in with the triangle and 0. And then you can get the free note in there for the attack up large, which I screwed up. But there's lots of different ways that you can utilize these free notes. Just keep in mind that it does have to be after a forward and circle attack. It doesn't work on just a regular circle attack. It has to be pressing forward and 0. Circle, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know why I call it 0. I apologize. I know I've offended somebody deeply, but I don't mean to. 0 is just easier to say than circle? Yeah, it is. No, I have no idea. I have no excuse for myself. But anyways, that is the hunting horn, and I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. This is absolutely amazing. I do have some support builds as well, which makes the hunting horn even more amazing. But I really just wanted to go and show you guys that the hunting horn is capable of some decent damage, and that it can be actually really satisfying to play, especially because it just makes your groups significantly better. It makes a party just stupidly overpowered. It's amazing. I can't get enough of it. I'll probably be using the hunting horn a lot in groups, and I plan on making a few other videos. This is the damaged focus video. Now, there's one other thing that you can do with the other set that I showed off earlier to be able to be more of a support. Let's actually go into our crit horn. There we go. Now you can actually swap out this Dobermail Beta. You'll lose a little bit of damage doing this, but you'll actually be able to be significantly more supportive by equipping something like the Commission Jacket, and then swapping out some of your gems for, you can swap out these Drain gems for the Friendship gems to give yourself level 5 wide range, and then you can fully buff and heal your party throughout each of the fights, which definitely makes you more on the support focus side of the spectrum, but you're still going to be doing decent damage with this as well. I don't know where my last gem jewel is, but you're going to have to put a tenderizer jewel in here instead of the critical jewel, so you're going to be losing a little bit of damage, but you'll make yourself significantly more able to support and keep your party alive. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of different things that you can kind of swap around with this particular set, and it can really adapt to any playstyle. Now, a lot of these different horns are very good. These are just two of my favorites, and they're the two highest damage horns in the game currently, but there's lots and lots of different ways to play the hunting horn. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. Hopefully I'll see some of you in some of the streams playing hunting horn as well. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to show your support and smash that like button. And if you want to see more hunting horn builds, let me know in the comments below. As well, if you have hunting horn builds that you want to share, leave them in the comments below or join the Discord, and feel free to post them in the Monster Hunter World Builds channel. But anyways, that is all I've got, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!